Hey guys, so if you remember, yesterday we were talking about needs and wants. And we said that when making a budget, we needed to make sure that we got what we needed before what we wanted. So now that we know the difference between those two, we're going to build a budget for our pretend family. If we're thinking back to immigrants who have just come into the United States, working in factories, it says most industrial workers put in 10 hours a day. That's a long day, let's say from 8 to 6. 6 days a week, which is more than we usually work, only 5 days a week, and made about only $1.50 a day. Imagine a monthly budget based on the needs and wants of an industrial family earning only $40.50 a month. Okay, that's not a lot of money and a whole lot of month to cover. Okay, there's a lot of things that they're going to need, especially with bigger families. So, how are they going to make that amount of money work? Well, they're going to have to budget. They're going to have to create a spending plan. Okay, so here's a little article that I found about creating a budget. All right, so what is budgeting and why do we need them? It says budgeting is the process of creating a plan to spend your money. This spending plan is called a budget. Creating this spending plan allows you to determine in advance whether you will have enough money to do the things you need to do or would like to do. Notice it says what you need to do before what you would like to do. It says budgeting is simply balancing your expenses with your income. Your expenses are going to be the amount of money going out that you're having to pay on bills and different things, and your income is exactly what it sounds like. It's the amount of money that comes in. So you don't want to be spending more money than you're making. Otherwise, you're going to be in the negative. You're going to be in debt and owe someone money. It says if they don't balance and you spend more than you make, you will have a problem. Many people don't realize that they spend more than they earn and slowly sink deeper into debt every year. Debt is when you've had to borrow money on a credit card or a loan, or you've borrowed it from someone personally and you're going to have to pay them back, and probably with interest. That's extra money tagged on because you borrowed it. If you don't have enough money to do everything you would like to do, then you can use this planning process to prioritize or to list an importance your spending and focus your money on the things that are most important to you, the things that you need before what you want. It says, why is budgeting so important? Since budgeting allows you to create a spending plan for your money, it ensures that you will always have enough money for the things you need and the things that are important to you. Following a budget or spending plan will also keep you out of debt or help you work your way out of debt if you are currently in debt. All right, so by budgeting, you're going to be able to make sure you get what you need before what you want, and that you can make your money last however long until you get paid again, as well as trying to keep yourself out of debt. You will know, oh, hey, I don't need to spend money on that because I will run out of money at the end of the month. All right, so based on the source, what are two things you need to know to create a budget? I want you to take a guess, and when you're ready, unpause the video and I will say the answer. Okay, the two things that you need to know to create a budget would be your income, how much money you have coming in, how much money you're earning, and your expenses, how much it costs for all of your bills, everything that you need to spend money on. All right, so you're going to need to take your income and plan how you're going to spend it out on all of your expenses. All right, so I want you to take a second and write these three words down in your notes. These are very important. These are our words to know for this unit. So the first one is budgeting. Budgeting is creating a plan for spending your money. All right, you don't just spend it without thinking about it. You have a plan made ahead of time. Income is the amount of money brought in, the money you earn. And expense or expenses are the amount of money that you spend. All right, so when you're done writing those down, let's keep moving. All right, so to practice making a budget, I went ahead and got an activity that is in today's money for not just for, immigrants back in the 1900s. It says each group will represent a family of four. All right, so obviously you are watching virtually, you're not in a group. So if I were you, I would just choose one of these amounts to make a year. I know a lot of you are going to want to choose the $120,000 a year salary, But I think it would be more of a challenge if you chose the $40,000 a year and see what it was like for some of the immigrants trying to work in a smaller budget. All right. So we're going to be making a yearly budget based on your income and family size. So you're going to pretend like you have a family of four and you're going to pick one of those salaries below. And we're going to deduct money from our income, which is the salary amount, to budget out our money on all of our expenses. All right, so you're going to put um, the amount of salary you would have here, your family size is 4, and you are going to use this little expense guide to help you deduct money for your expenses, and then you can see what you have left over for the things that you want. All right, so you can just flip back and forth between these two slides to deduct money from your expenses and see how much money you have left in the end. All right, so this brings us to our ending question. Why do we have to create budgets? If we did not create budgets, we might not be careful enough to get what we need before what we want, and we might be in trouble and go without something that we really need. Or we might be spending more money than we earn and we could be going into debt. All right, so when there is not enough resources for everything we need or want, that is called scarcity. All right, so scarcity is something we try to avoid. But back in the 1900s, when immigrants came over, there were jobs, but the resources were very scarce. The amount of money that was being paid out was scarce, the amount of food available, the housing available, a lot of these resources were very scarce. So, in tomorrow's lesson, we're going to be looking a little bit more about how the immigrants had to deal. So, after you've completed the activity, what are the needs and wants of your family? Well, you're obviously going to need shelter, you need food, you need clothing, you need electricity and water and these things. So, what did you address first in your budget? Your family needs or your family wants? So, you need to make sure to go through and deduct money for the needs before you deduct money for the wants, like cable or phone bill, things like that. And were you able to afford all of your family's needs? Think about, what would you do if you weren't? What would you cut out? What would you do? That was the situation some of these immigrants were facing. All right, so we're going to be talking a little bit more about this in our next lesson.